welcome back. Today we're going to check out this basket from Manivelle. They're from Strasbourg, France. And they build frames and also make different cycling products. It looks like they put a lot into their products, so I'm keen to check out this basket. In the box we have a cool little business card, here's the back, and also some colourful stickers. You can see they also collaborated with Caddy, the French manufacturer for shopping carts. So long history of making baskets, so it should be pretty good. Everything's held together with zip ties. First you got this brace that goes on the fork. Here's the basket, seems pretty well made, pretty solid, nice and thick wiring there, and you can see the joins there. And then they got these little brackets on the bottom, just welded on I think. One in the middle and then two on the sides. But yeah, overall pretty nice size as well. And then here the struts just crimp pressed on one side, and then the other side was really interesting. I think it has a little screw in to adjust the length and also a nut to kind of set it. I've actually never seen this way to do struts before, but I think it's a pretty clean way to go. And then here all the nuts and bolts that you need. That long piece of metal thing is for a light if you want to fix a light on that. Just weighing it out. Here's the main components, and then here are the bolts. So yeah, all up 13-14 grams, not that bad at all, just a little over a kilo. Alright, let's put it on. So yeah, first the bracket, I gotta move my canty hanger, so I'm just gonna undo my brake here and then pull up this. I'm gonna have to move the canty hanger up, and this is just a Magic Components hanger. So with the brace, you gotta bend it so it's horizontal to the ground. I don't have a vise, so I'm just going to do it on the bike, and I'm following the instructions as per their website. So just take the longest bolt and put a washer on the end and a washer on the inside, and put it through your eyelet of your fork, and then washer and nut, and then wind it on, medium tight, just so you have a little bit of room to move. That's just like that. And then these two bolts are the thicker bolts that come with it, and you just line up the basket. It has two rails on the top. And you basically put a washer on top, washer on bottom again, and then the lock nut, just like this. You can slide the basket back and forth depending on how far you want it forward. I had mine as forward as it goes. I figured this would put the basket more over the center of the wheel and maybe distribute the weight a little bit better. Here I'm just bending the bracket. In hindsight, I would like the bolt to be further up in the bracket, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just be careful when you bend it. You just push down on the basket, and eventually it will get horizontal. The bracket metal is a lot thicker than the one that I use for my DIY rack, so yeah, it takes a little bit more to bend it. And then now to put the struts on, you use these smaller bolts and just put a washer, and then put the strut on the inside with another washer and a nylock nut on the other side, and basically just wind these on loose so they kind of just hang. This will allow you to line up the struts and adjust them to the right length. So another good thing about these struts is they have a hole for the eyelet and also a hole for the axle. So depending on what you have, you can line it up to however you want to use it. Most people run the eyelet, but because I don't have an eyelet on top, I decided to run it through the quick release. I've done this before and there's been no issues, and also other racks actually use this method as well. And then you just unscrew it to the right length and then wind a little nut so it sits flush against the top of the strut, and then do the same on both sides. Mine was 40 millimeters on both sides, and then you just take the quick release out and then put it through. I ended up taking the springs out because it kind of got in the way, so yeah, you might need to do that on yours as well if you decide to go that route. And then here just cleaning it a little bit with WD-40, tightening all the rest of the bolts, and then just tighten them nice and snug. You don't have to go super ham on them, just make sure they're pretty solid. And then here just testing out the basket, feels super solid, pretty stoked on it, and yeah, it doesn't really move at all. And all you have to do is connect your brake together again. I did that off camera, but yeah, here pretty clean design. I decided to test out a few things. So yeah, here's a hat, here's a helmet, and here's a toolbox. This is probably like 5 kg. and then a big bag fits, backpack, and then this is a tub of bike parts, pretty good fit actually. Bag of groceries could go on top. A skateboard doesn't fit this way but fits the other way. You might have to put something to protect the rack, and then does 2 things of paint. You could carry bigger stuff on it, but it would be probably a little bit awkward. They recommend this to be a 10 kilo max, but I'm sure you can carry more. And then just want to see how many cans it carries. So yeah, 22 cans. Pretty good. And then here, just doing a little drop test. First I did about, I guess, 15 centimeters. And you can see when I drop it, doesn't really change much, pretty solid. Here I kind of double that, maybe even higher. But yeah, the rack's super solid. You can see it doesn't move at all. I don't think there'll be no issues. I wouldn't be going off drops that big anyway. Not off this bike anyway. So yeah, overall I'm pretty stoked on this rack. I think it looks really good and it's good size for kind of like a daily commute or just a small going to shops or whatever. I wouldn't really call this a cargo bike, but the great thing about it is that it has all the stuff ready to put on your bike, and you don't really need that many tools. You just need an Allen key and maybe a small wrench. Yeah, there's nothing worse than getting a rack and then it not having all the parts and you got to go out and buy an extra part. So I think that's a good move on their part. They also have a little adapter for the light, which I didn't show, but I'll throw a picture up right here. So yeah, if you have a light, you can chuck that on as well. And strength-wise, I can compare it to my 3 racks that I have. So the DIY rack, it's definitely stronger than this and it has less side play. And in my crate rack, I'd say it's pretty durable, can't really beat a crate. But where I attach it to the stem, it has a little bit of flex, nothing too bad, but I'd say that one piece of solid bracket metal is stronger. And then the cargo fork, you're not going to beat the strength of a cargo fork, but the basket itself, I think the gauge of metal is actually thicker than the basket that I got, so that's a plus as well. And then here, just taking it for a spin. So yeah, it feels pretty light on the bike. You don't really feel it too much. I think it also depends on what you carry on the front. But yeah, pretty light overall. And after I rode it, I checked all the bolts and stuff. All the bolts were still tight, so no loosening. And yeah, overall pretty happy with it. So yeah, I think this is a great basket for people that they just want to be one and done. Just buy it and be able to install it and not have to worry too much about making mods or anything. And I think it looks great as well. So yeah, big shout out to Manivelle for sending this across. Yeah, super stoked on it. Check out their stuff. They make other cool bags, custom racks as well. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.